Okay, today's conversation is about Tonight Conversation. It's a podcast. I don't know if you've heard of that podcast before. I do use some of their clips in my videos sometimes. And there is this content creator amongst them, should I say a host amongst them. His name is Metaphor. He's quite popular on TikTok. And this man speaks up for women. He's kind of like a feminist. He speaks against toxic masculinity. He speaks against what do you call it, patriarchy. But the story I'm hearing about him, I don't know, honestly. Everything I'm saying here is alleged. Although we are going to hear from the host, one of the hosts, that's Kitty Rhodes. She went live and she shared her story. So from the look of things, some people are leaving that podcast. That podcast is quite popular, is big. So the reason why I'm playing this video today, or I'm going live today on this topic, is because I have this question. The male that speak up for women, are they performing? Do they really mean it? Are they saying what they think their female audience want to hear? Or are they really saying it because they want to help? Because most of the times, they don't practice what they preach. I'm saying this based on the story. I don't know if the story is true, but given that one of the hosts went on live to talk about it, that's the reason why I'm trying to hold on to the story. So if the story is true, yeah, why don't they practice what they preach? Anyways, to cut the long story short, let's get right into the video. So this is a live video here.
He gets to pick which one he either sleeps with or yells at, and sometimes they get both. Jesus. So scary. So scary. I didn't sleep with him. Don't worry, you guys. Don't worry. I didn't sleep with him. Yeah, but she wanted to be top dog. It's mine. People are clapping for me. People are taking my fake ass advice, which is awesome. No one cares. Here's the thing about what I don't understand about taking me down. What I don't get about trying to take me out and get me fired and get Mojo Jojo mad at me and all this stuff. What I don't get is we are not even in the same lane. I make jokes. If you've ever been to a show, I make jokes. You give fake ass advice you don't live by. We are not the same. I tell jokes. Ba-da-ba. That's me. You give that fake ass advice. So why are you trying to take me out? You should be mad at the other therapist that you didn't like me talking to. I used to just say hi. Imagine just you're at the break room just getting some water.
Okay, let me say this. She's actually saying that the owner of the podcast, I think they say the owner is Metaphor, that he sleeps with the female host. She said he slept with a lot of them. That's what she's saying.
Water. This is me getting some water. Another therapist come in. Hey, how you doing? Then the other life coach. Why the fuck you talking to her? Stop talking to her. I said, what she do? She be talking shit about me on stage. I be on that same stage. Don't nobody be talking shit about her. She be like, I be like, but I was like, oh, okay, well, I understand. I get it. That bitch, she doesn't know what she's talking about. She's a fraud. She's a fraud.
You know what's going on? You know, when you have one man sleeping with a lot of women, then it becomes a problem. That's basically the man setting those women against themselves to fight. That's exactly what's going on. That's exactly what she's saying. And then you have this man. Anyways, let's just hear what she has to say first.
I just be on stage like, that's probably why I got fired. Because I be like, why the fuck you lying? Why you always lying? Oh my God. Stop fucking lying. Stop lying. Yikes. I said, oh my goodness. So anyways, yeah, so now she's on TikTok crying. She gonna be crying to y'all. Y'all gonna believe her. I don't care. I don't give a fuck. Somebody said, well, I don't even know that other Kita girl. All I came for was the other two. I don't give a... Let me tell y'all something. I'm going to try to say, I don't want to be rude. How do I say... Como se dice? I don't give a fuck in the nicest way. I don't give a fuck. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care who's your favorite. I don't care. I don't care. I never liked her anyway. Well, I'm gone. I don't care. Because it was really difficult to sit by people that was lying. Especially knowing that I just be like... And I be trying to control myself. Because I know I'm not allowed to speak. I know I'm not allowed to speak. So... What part froze? I just entered that I don't care. Y'all was good, Nessie. No, the shows are good. We're good. We're good. It's good. It's entertainment. It's gonna be good. The movie's gonna be good. I seen that documentary from Netflix for the Disney. Was it Disney or was it Nickelodeon?
Okay, I'm just going to hold it there. So basically, she went on live to talk about how she's about to get fired because someone was attacking her, and she said she found out that Ace Metaphor has been sleeping with other women, according to her. That's what she said. So yeah, you know what? I'll play this video for us to hear what this man has to say about it. If you're wondering why I'm talking about it, it's because Ace Metaphor talks about women and fighting for women equality in relationships and all that. So hearing this story about him just got me wondering and thinking, did he really mean it? Why would he be saying something else and doing something else to women as well? It doesn't make sense to me.
It was Derek Jackson, now it's Ace Metaphor. Allegedly, Scipius Maximus, Ace Metaphor, has been smashing everybody on the show of tonight's conversation. He's been smashing everybody, ladies and gentlemen, allegedly. Now, Tripp Fontaine has left the show. Keita Rose has left the show. And a lot of tea is starting to be spilled. But I've seen Ace Metaphor's videos. And something in my heart of hearts just didn't feel right. Because he was simping super hard, right? He was tickling women's ears, telling them everything that they wanted to hear. He was really essentially trying to fill that Derek Jackson space, right? And when you see a man, ladies, telling you everything that you want to hear, and everything sounds perfect, you don't disagree with anything that he's saying, he's coming for your cheeks. And your pocketbook, for both, okay? He's coming for your cheeks and your purse and your money, okay? You guys have to stop falling. And I would say that Yada Awakening is right in this bunch. Derek Jackson is in this bunch. Ace Metaphor is in this bunch. Stop falling for these guys out here that are telling you everything that you want to hear. Because when it comes out, what they're actually doing, all of a sudden now you're questioning everything. If you agree with everything that a man says, he's lying to you.
Okay.
Tell you what you want to hear is a very dangerous man. They just said Ace Metaphor was smashing the whole crew. If you don't know who Ace Metaphor is, he's a pander bear. A man that panders to get what he wants speaks to you just like this right here.
Stop letting these men play in your face as if you're not beautiful, as if you're not worth it, as if there isn't a man right now praying to God to eventually meet you. You are somebody's he who finds a good thing.
And the whole time, he's full of shit. I had an OG on here, right? His name was Pastor Poppy Don.
Please like this video. Please like the video so the algorithm can push it for me. Thanks.
He would pander just to get hoes. Like, he would pander just to get women. And it would be beautiful women, too. Like, he would show me how he gets down. And I'm like, damn, all right, OG, I see you. But it's all a master plan to get you to sleep with them.
Okay.
It's that easy. All common sense. Most men think the same. So if you have a man coming out the woodworks just saying some outlandish bullshit like, oh, and just telling you what you want to hear, you have to be like, okay, he's on to something. Like, he has a plan and he's gonna execute. You know what I'm saying? The power of the tongue is crazy. But most men think the same. Just like
True.
most women think the same. So don't
True.
sit here and just believe anything a man says. The thing with Ace Metaphor is Ace Metaphor has 1 million followers right on TikTok. Pastor Poppy Don, he had like 700,000. If you want to make it in social media, man or woman, If you're a man, pander to the women. If you're a woman, pander to the men. Just say what the opposite gender wants to hear, and you will make it on the internet. I've seen it time and time again. Am I surprised that Ace Metaphor is moving how he moves and is getting exposed for it? No. It happens over and over. It's just like that Yada Awakening dude. He makes a bag off of telling women what they want to hear. Bash men, make the women seem like the good ones. Or, you know what I'm saying? Or vice versa. It doesn't matter. That's how they do it.
So, ladies, we have to be very careful, especially when men are the ones speaking up for us, because a lot of men have this internalized conditioning. When I talk about conditioning, it's not something that just started happening to men in their adult stage. It started from a very young age. Some men don't even know that they are conditioned. So it's like going to a church and the pastor is preaching every day. The pastor is preaching, talking about how committing adultery is bad, but that pastor is busy sleeping with his church members. Yeah, we've heard, I don't know if you have, but I've heard a lot of stories where pastors sleep with their church members, but the same man of God will be preaching against it. It's just the same thing. So, should we believe that men are polygamous in nature because a pastor cannot keep it in there? Because a pastor cannot control himself. Should we then believe that men are polygamous in nature? So what I'm trying to say here is this. The conditioning is real, is serious. It takes a whole lot of effort for any man not to act according to how the patriarchy has programmed men to act. It takes a whole lot of intentionality for any man not to go according to their book, according to the rules they've set out for men. It takes a lot. So when you hear a man telling you what you want to hear, I think you should focus on his action rather than what that man is telling you. Men are very crafty, they are cunning. You would see a man become a Christian because he wants to sleep with a woman. Men can go that length. You would see a man change overnight because he wants to sleep with a woman. I'm not saying that is what he did or he's doing, but according to the story out there, it seems like that's what he's doing. Let's hear what does these ladies have to say. Hold on. So we just have to be careful. Not because a man is saying something means he's practicing it. Sorry, means he's practicing it. Means he's practicing it, or he's going to not act like other people. The best way to tell a man's character is to see how he treats you. Watch his actions, not what he's saying, not his words, but his actions.
Going on with this podcast, but all I'm going to tell you right now is it was way too many people on a stage without a wedding ring. Okay, so this is apparently a podcast y'all been watching about relationships. Never knew that. But apparently a lot of them have begun their exodus from this podcast, and I was only really able to go down the rabbit hole of this one here by the name of Tripp Fontaine. I think that's his name, with the beard. Now, you guys had already seen this video that he had posted on his IG where he was talking about leaving the show and he didn't want to do anything like super sappy, but he's going to miss everybody, blase soise. So then I noticed that he doesn't really engage online a lot, except he does on Threads. I don't know if you guys know the Threads app, but he does a lot online. And so I went to his Threads account and he was basically plugging his new podcast called Tripp After Dark. But then he had made this statement I thought was kind of interesting. So he was like, I'm going to miss a lot of things about being on this show. One thing I will not miss is creators, which I don't know who he's referring to, on social media, making a living off my face without as so much as tagging me. So I think he was referring to like snippets of their show. I don't know anything about this show. I'm really not trying to like get on it, but I don't know anything about this show other than what I looked at online, and it seems like it's a relationship podcast that travels. So I guess a lot of people were saying that this Tripp Fontaine guy had like some of the best sound bites, and people would re-upload those sound bites, whether they did it from the audience, whether they were watching live or from online, and basically like not even tagging him in a lot of those posts. And he goes on to say that that was like one of the main focal reasons as to why he wanted to step back, because he felt like a lot of people were monetizing off of him without him getting any bread off of that. And then somebody was like, I only watch for your point of view. You're a counselor in my head. Will you be at the St. Louis show? And then he updates this 2 days ago. He said, no, ma'am, unfortunately not. So he left before their St. Louis tour. Now, another person has stated, like, now this with Keita and you confirming it, they go on to say that you are the reason that so many bought tickets. He said, I'm grateful for all y'all, man. Y'all the reason I made it as long as I did, which I thought was very indicative of, was he going to leave prior? Like, if it wasn't for people buying tickets to the show to see him and listen to his point of view, again, I've never actually heard this man speak on points of view of relationships. I don't really know. But I wonder if he was going to step out earlier, and if he was, why? And then after he had plugged his Trip After Dark podcast on Threads, he made this post the same day that he had made that post about exiting I was going to say traveling circus. Now he had pinned this and it said, two sides of the shift that is brewing. With great opportunity to choose great for yourself and community comes great evil to keep you complicit. Ooh, he was saying a word there. Now he finishes it with this and says, remember, an abuser will almost always become more extreme the closer you get to breaking free. See, now that's interesting
Okay.
because about 14 hours ago, Keita Rose had uploaded this 4-minute video where she discusses the perspective of being in an abusive relationship from the victim's point of view. And in this 4-minute video, she talks about what it's like to survive, how do you maintain and navigate not being believed, how do you produce evidence, and so on and so forth. So based off of what that, I was about to call him Partisan Fontaine. Ciao. So based off of what Tripp Fontaine and Keita Rose were saying about an abusive relationship, somebody in this podcast, at least whoever the remaining members are, had an abusive tendency toward both of them. Maybe he was a witness to, and maybe she was the victim of. I'm not entirely sure, but maybe in the coming days, we'll hear more about who they're alleging is the abuser.
The
See, I
dra-
don't know what's going on with this.
the drama is a lot. It's not just about someone sleeping with a woman. Other people are being abused as well. And I think everything is coming from is because I've watched a lot of clips and that's what you're saying. It's coming from him. Initially, I didn't know who owned the podcast, but listening to what's the name? Kitty Rose speak, I think he owns it. And there's a lady called Simon or something. When I listened to her, she was talking about the Bible. I'm like, no, I don't want to hear this right now. I just came to hear the full story of what happened. Anyways, I'm not going to play. Let me play this last clip, then I will move on to talk about why I decided to look at the story. We just have to be very careful. Not because someone is preaching the gospel means that they are going to practice it. Yeah, we just have to be very careful. Men are crafty, men are cunning. I'm not saying women are not, but men are more crafty, more strategic, more cunning than women are. Men are after getting women, using women, and they've been groomed and trained on how to do that unknowingly to them. So let's watch this particular one.
And while we're at it, whatever Keita said that man did, he did it. He did it. And he did. I've been knowing Keita since I was a DJ. When I used to DJ back in the day. And she always been cool. She always been solid. She used to be on a podcast that I DJ for. And we still follow each other on Instagram. Y'all not finna play with her. Get behind me, Keita. Because they not finna play with you. And while we're
Okay, I think I will stop playing the clips now. So back to what I was saying. Not because a man is telling you what you want to hear, not because he sounds right, correct, he's giving you all the points and everything, then you get carried away and say, oh, he's a good person because he's saying this. Oh, he's a good person. He's someone I should trust because he's fighting for us. He's speaking up for women. No, don't be deceived. Let the man's action show you, not what he's saying. People play two sides. That man might be telling you what you want to hear because he wants to gain your trust and then strike when he thinks you're not watching. If the story you're telling is true, then it's really sad. Have you heard Ace metaphor talk about toxic men? Have you heard him talk about toxic masculinity? He speaks with a lot of passion. He speaks like he's angry at men. He speaks like he's going to fight those men with so much passion. And if you don't know that he's capable of what they accuse him, I don't know, let me don't say he's capable of, but if you don't know he could do something like this, allegedly, you would believe everything he says. But let me say this, not because of what he did right now means that everything he says you shouldn't believe it. Of course, he was saying the truth. It's like how the Bible says, listen to those preachers, but don't do what they do. Listen to what I say, but don't do what I do. Something like that. If he's right, he's right. I saw someone in the comment section saying that, oh, they are preaching, or they are saying things without getting qualified. You don't need qualification to talk about life issues. Being a living human being is an experience already. That's the truth. It's very different from talking about life issues. Life experience is very different from being a medical doctor. It's very different from being a lawyer. That the knowledge is restricted. You need to go to school and go through a process. But as a normal human being living, you have your own life experience. If you go to a therapist would advise you based on her own life experience. Whoever that writes a book writes that book based on their own life experience. As long as you're living, you have life experience. And if you have the people around you tell you story, they are telling story based on their own life experience. Everyone has got their own perception to life, their own perspective to life. So you don't need to wait for someone to have qualification for you to take a life advice from them. In the past, people would always go to the older people to hear from them because they've been here longer, they've experienced life longer. I'm not saying that younger people don't have better life experience compared to older people. I'm not saying that. Like I said, everyone's journey in life is different. Everyone's experience in life is different. Some people might have similar experience. So I'm just trying to talk about this person that said, oh, they don't have any qualification and they're giving advice. No, I don't think so. When someone gives you advice, you should know what to take from it and know what not to take from it. Like I said, I'm very disappointed. Not disappointed because I know him or something, I don't know him personally, but I'm disappointed at what these men do. Not just at him, at what these men do, and more disappointed at the women that fell for it. And most of those women, according to what they said, usually speak as one of the people in the panel, or the panelists. Is that what they call them? Yeah. They give advice and they're falling for it at the same time. Like, it doesn't make sense. I don't know how he was able to do it, but my focus here is to talk about men that speak up for women. Watch their actions, not what they're saying. What their actions and not what they're saying. Women, we have to be smart, we have to be vigilant because men are out there. Not all men, but a lot of men are out there planning day and night on how to conquer women. Imagine having that kind of a man around. During the day, he will go on his podcast and advise women. At night, I don't know when they have their sex, maybe at night or whenever, he will go and sleep with a lot of women that they work together. Women that work together in the same workspace. And then in the morning, he comes back to his podcast and start advising women. Like, it's crazy. Yeah, I don't have much to say about this, honestly. All I came to talk about is not everyone that preaches women rights, equality really means it. Not every man that says it really means it from the depth of his heart. So we have to be careful. We don't have to feel comfortable because we heard a man speaking up for women, speaking for us, saying what we want to hear. We don't have to feel comfortable. Always look at their action. Action always speaks louder than words. That's all I have to say. If you have any contribution, please leave it in the comment section. Yeah, truth is, no matter who is saying it, okay, truth is truth, no matter who is saying it. However, so many people do not practice what they preach. So be careful who you choose to listen to. If the advice helps you, sure. If not, don't be surprised. Yes, when someone gives you an advice, it's up to you to use your discretion. Choose what you can take out of it and leave the rest, honestly. And like this person, what's the name? Sorry, SG. And like SG rightly said, the truth is truth. Is the truth. Not because the person is not practicing it changes the truth. No, the truth is the truth. But focus on the person's action. If the person is coming to you, if you feel like you need to trust the person, look at the person's action. Don't look at what they are saying to bring them into your life. That's what I'm trying to say. Thank you. I love your compilations. These modern men definitely hate themselves because they have animal, feminine energy polarity in the side. We need balance. Okay, hold on. I'm just going through the comment section. There's only one dating coach I listen to, and that's Anthony. He doesn't teach the crap the Red Pill podcast guys do. This what's his name? Ace Metaphor. He doesn't talk about. He speaks against the Red Pill guys. That's what he does in most of his podcast. That's what he does. I think a lot of men have internalized conditioning. Yeah, it's hard for them to break free. It's hard for them to treat women differently. Most of them see women the same way, even if they might not admit to that, even if they might not agree to it. Most of them see women the same way. It's gonna take a lot for you to break free from that as a man. We women, we are also conditioned. It's not like we are not being conditioned. We are being conditioned differently. We are being conditioned to be nurturers, to accept the BS from men, and more. So you have to decide to intentionally break free. It's not something that is going to be automatic. You have to go through self awakening. You have to go through rejecting those teachings, unlearning all that, and learning new things. It's a lot, and I tell you, not everyone will want to do that, especially men. Given that the system is favoring them, why should they do that in the first place? Why? Why should they go through all that stress? Why? When the system is favoring them in the first place. It's easier for men that did not get into the programming because of their upbringing, because of the parents they had. Some parents are very much aware of what is going on. That's why you will hear some parents say they would rather do homeschooling. I know homeschooling does have their own curriculum, but with homeschooling, you control what your kids are being taught. You look at it first before letting them get taught that, if you get what I mean. Okay, I didn't plan to stay long today. I planned to just stay for 30 minutes. I saw the video going viral. I think I saw it yesterday and I felt the need to talk about it because I've used a couple of their clips in my videos and I felt I should talk about it because in those clips he was speaking in favor of women. He was speaking up for women. So it made sense for me to talk about it. Okay, I'm going to end it here. Thank you so much for joining this live stream, and I will see you all in the next one.